wasn't sneaking past a firewall in the dark. Prosecutors say Peter Williams already had the badge, the access, and the trust. And by 2026, that trust had turned into a federal sentence over stolen cyber exploit material allegedly funneled to a Russian broker for cryptocurrency. That opening matters because this case is not just about an insider stealing files. It's about what happens when sensitive hacking capability leaves a secure government-adjacent environment and enters a criminal supply chain. A line that should have been locked behind policy, classification, and loyalty suddenly became negotiable. For crypto, for a buyer overseas? According to federal prosecutors, Williams worked inside the defense-contractor world, where software components and exploit research are not just code. They're leverage, they're access. They're the digital equivalent of handing someone a master key and a floor plan at the same time. And what caught my attention when I read through the court reporting on this case is how ordinary the betrayal looks at first. No ski mask, no cinematic breach, just a trusted insider moving sensitive material out from the inside. The fresh angle in 2026 is the sentencing. Sentencing freezes the story in legal concrete. Allegations become tested in court. Timelines harden. Documents line up. And suddenly, the case stops being rumor and becomes record. That's when you can finally see the full shape of the damage. Federal authorities say Williams stole exploit components tied to government-grade cyber capabilities and sold them to a Russian broker in exchange for cryptocurrency payments. Not malware downloaded from some random forum, not a leaked password list. Government-grade tools. And that changes the moral geometry of the whole story. Because once a tool like that leaves the lab, the contractor, or the restricted program, it doesn't stay in one pair of hands. It can be resold, modified, bundled, repurposed. What begins as theft inside one building can end as intrusion attempts against hospitals, utilities, businesses, or ordinary people who will never hear Peter Williams' name. So let's walk this the right way. Who was at the center? What prosecutors say was taken? How the alleged sales worked at a high level? And why the 2026 sentence matters beyond one defendant. Williams was not described as an outsider battering his way into a secure network. He was already in the ecosystem. That is the first hard lesson here. Some of the most dangerous cybercrime stories don't begin with intrusion. They begin with permission. A login, a role, a reputation. Investigators say he exploited that trusted position to siphon off sensitive cyber materials. Public reporting tied to the case describes the material as stolen exploits or exploit components connected to defense contractor work. The exact technical detail matters less here than the category. These were not everyday IT tools. These were offensive cyber assets with serious downstream risk. And this is where I think the case becomes bigger than one man. Most companies talk about insider threat like it's an HR problem, a policy deck, a compliance checkbox. But this case suggests something darker. In the cyber world, one insider can act like a bridge between a secure national security environment and a transnational criminal market. That's not an employee issue. That's a weapon supply issue. So let me ask you this. In a case like this, what deserves more blame? The individual who allegedly sold the material? Or the organization that failed to stop sensitive exploit components from walking out the door? Tell me in the comments. The payment trail matters too. Prosecutors say Williams accepted cryptocurrency. And crypto in this kind of story isn't interesting because it's flashy. It's interesting because it compresses distance. A buyer doesn't need to meet in a parking garage. No envelope changes hands. The exchange can happen quietly, across borders, through wallets and screens and time-stamped transfers. That detail turns this from insider theft into market behavior. Supply, demand, delivery, payment. A stolen exploit is not just contraband, it's inventory. And once cyber capability becomes inventory, the logic changes. Someone will price it. Someone will broker it. Someone will try to scale it. According to prosecutors, the buyer on the other side was a Russian broker. That's the hinge point of the whole narrative. Because the danger is not only that Williams allegedly stole something sensitive, it's that he allegedly fed a distribution channel. A broker sits in the middle. A broker moves risk outward. A broker can connect one insider's betrayal to many future victims. Think about the scale in human terms. One engineer, one executive, one insider takes material from a protected environment. Then a broker repackages or resells it. Months later, maybe years later, some small business owner stares at a dead laptop. A municipal office loses access to records. A patient waits while a hospital system struggles through a cyber incident. That person doesn't see the original betrayal. They just live with the consequences. Court cases like this also expose a truth. The headlines usually flatten.
Cybercrime is not neatly separated into clean categories like espionage here, crime there, insider theft somewhere else. In practice, those worlds bleed into each other. The gray market is where they shake hands. And that, to me, is the most unsettling part of this case. Because if a trusted insider can turn high-end cyber tools into a commodity, then the real story isn't only about theft, it's about conversion. Sensitive capability becomes a product. A product becomes access. Access becomes damage. That chain is quiet, but it's brutal. If that supply chain angle hits you as hard as it hit me when I dug into this case, leave a like. Most people hear insider threat and imagine a disgruntled employee with a USB drive. This is a lot darker than that. But the detail that really reframes the story is this. The target of the theft wasn't money sitting in an account. It was capability itself. Williams allegedly didn't just steal from a company. He stole from the future security posture of everyone who depended on those tools staying controlled. And that's where the 2026 sentencing matters. Sentencing is the point where the justice system says this wasn't a vague internal incident. It was serious enough, documented enough, and damaging enough to merit punishment on the record. For viewers like us, it also gives the story a hard edge of accountability. Not closure, exactly. Accountability. Those are different things. If you like breaking down real cybercrime cases at the point where technical detail meets human betrayal, subscribe. I cover these stories from the documents up because the paperwork usually says more than the headlines do. There is another reason this case sticks with me. It shows how fragile the word trusted
can be inside high-security environments. Companies spend fortunes on perimeter defense, detection stacks, audit tooling, endpoint monitoring. And still, if the wrong person already belongs there, the whole architecture starts to look less like a wall and more like a hallway. I don't say that to excuse weak controls. I say it because it's the uncomfortable lesson buried under the court language. A defense contractor can build sophisticated protections and still be undone by an insider who understands where the valuable pieces live. That's why my view is simple. In cases like this, access to sensitive cyber material should be treated with the same seriousness as physical custody of weapons components. Different object, same principle. And ask yourself this: how many organizations right now have someone inside with enough context, enough access, and enough private resentment or greed to do something similar? How many would know before the material was already gone? That question is bigger than Peter Williams. It's bigger than one contractor. It's about an economy that can absorb almost anything valuable and turn it into a tradable asset. Passwords, access, databases, exploits, even trust itself. And the people who end up paying for that economy are rarely the ones sitting at the first transaction. They're downstream. They're invisible at first. The employee locked out of a system, the customer whose data gets caught in a later campaign, the family waiting while a disrupted service comes back online. Cybercrime always sounds abstract until it lands on a desk, a screen, or a kitchen table. So, if you strip the jargon away, this case becomes painfully clear. A trusted insider allegedly took highly sensitive cyber capability, accepted crypto, and handed that capability toward a foreign brokerage channel. In 2026, the sentence made that betrayal legible to the public, not as a glitch, as a warning. A warning that the next major cyber incident may not begin with a brilliant intrusion from the outside. It may begin with somebody already sitting in the building. If true crime tech is your kind of investigation, subscribe and join me here. I pull these stories from indictments, court records, and reporting, not just headlines. And there are more cases coming where the most dangerous person in the room was never outside the door.